I bid you all good morning, good evening, and good night, wherever you may be watching this transmission. It is I, Mike Martins. Welcome to another very special edition of Morning Coffee with Mike. It is Morning Coffee with Mike. It is a beautiful Monday morning. Welcome to. So let's go and find out what's going on here, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, be part of the channel. Don't forget to pick up or watch Mike in the Nights show with Tony. We had Tony on from God Rules channel. And he came on, gave us some information on what's happening down in the United States. So if you're living down in the United States, you want to check this out. This is a really good Mike in the Night episode. Don't forget to subscribe. We got upcoming more every Saturday night. We got Mike in the Night, and every Wednesday night we have Commonwealth for Common Folks discussing housing, rentals, whatever across the Commonwealth. So there it is. Check that out, guys. If you want to send me show tips, thank you, people, for sending me show tips to my Instagram, Mike Martins Official. Thanks for sending me show tips. All right, here goes, guys. So let's start off with, this is Toronto, Canada. Stay-at-home order doesn't give police power to enter homes and pull over drivers and stop pedestrians. There you go. Canada's trying to pull a Victoria, Melbourne, Australia type thing last year in 2020. Melbourne, Australia was in lockdown for 26, 27 weeks. And people had to have tracing apps on their phone to find out where they were. People had to basically get paperwork signed, printed off and signed for them to visit family. It was absolute disgusting and what was happening. And people couldn't leave the province of Victoria because there's a mass exodus of people leaving, just like California, just like Seattle, just like every basically liberal-run area is seeing a mass exodus. So now, stay-at-home orders don't give the police the power to enter homes, pull over driver, and stop pedestrians, because it is getting out of hand. Troops, blockades, and Eerie quiet pervade a lockdown in Washington. Washington scores the scores of crisp American and District of Columbia flags sailing above Pennsylvania Avenue are a traditional sign of the coming of the presidential inauguration. So in my opinion, basically the siege of the Capitol was just basically a setup. So with two policemen on duty and nobody there to protect the building. So during that whole thing last week that happened in the United States, but nobody goes in and discusses the burning of Wisconsin, the burning of Seattle, the burning of Oregon, I don't know how many days straight, the burning of California. Nobody discusses those riots and that destruction of private property. And without private property, the public sector can't fund its goods. Right? So there it is right there. So I think that was just basically a little bit of, and Canada's like, oh yes, they need to protect this building because of what these Trump supporters did. So again, it was all other people dressed. I'm not going to get into that, but if you could read between the lines, you know what I'm talking about. So here it is. USPS temporarily suspends mail collection in some major cities ahead of inauguration. So mail. So they're saying here, collection boxes are also moved or locked, suspending mail locations for certain areas in Washington. So they're putting the entire District of Columbia on lockdown. Biden planning several executive orders on first day in office, including rescinding travel ban. So, residing travel ban. The president-elect will sign roughly a dozen executive orders that day. So, is planning several executive orders on the day of his presidency. His incoming chief of staff announced in a statement. President-elect will sign 13 roughly executive orders the day, including reversing Donald Trump's travel ban on 13 majority Muslim countries, rejoining the Paris Climate Agreement, and extending the pause on student loan payments, according to Ron Klein. So there it is right there. And don't forget, you got to get China in there. You got to make construction mandatory in the United States so the Chinese can come in and buy, just like they bought New York, just like they bought California, just like they bought Seattle, and just like they bought Oregon. They're going to go ahead and move into middle America and make it unaffordable for all Americans. This has happened across the Commonwealth. Canada, you want to buy something in a major city in Canada? Good luck if you're not spending $2 million in the Toronto or Vancouver or two real major commerce cities. Good luck if you're not spending $2 million on a teardown. That's going to come to America. And that's why I call it Amerifornia. So, guys, don't forget, a quarter of all Americans say it's time for the U.S. to split into two different nations. That's the problem. The problem is they won't do this. Like, I know Texas is the Republic of Texas. It can secede from the United States if it really wants to. But the thing is, I don't think they'll allow that, right? Even though there's parts of Canada that want to secede from the idea of Canada, right? Canada is just an idea, right? But here it is. A quarter of Americans say it's time for U.S. to split into two nations. And I totally agree with that. I think, like, nations should be smaller, so it's easy to, so it's less governance. When a nation becomes smaller, you have less governance. You know, like Texas could secede, right? Florida, the Republic of Florida, or the Dominion of Florida, should secede. I see South Carolina and North Carolina unifying and becoming one. Like, that's better. Then this way you have less red tape, less bureaucracy, and this way people could live the lives they want to, right? So, and then right here, UK police chief now is really not the time for freedom of speech or right of assembly. So the UK and the United Kingdom with these AR-15 and assault rifles are basically telling people that it's not really the time for freedom of speech or right of assembly. So Chief Constable James Vaughan was speaking after the controversial arrest of two women for seemingly being recorded leaving their home more than once and sitting on a bench in an incident that police allege was staged managed by lockdown protests, as one of the women is a COVID septic. Okay, although she denies any pre-planning. Of course, there's no pre-planning. They're just trying to spin it off like everything else. And no shots until proven safe, says Prime Minister. This is in Bangkok. This is in Thailand. They are basically saying, that's it. If this thing isn't safe, we are not injecting our people with it. Good luck. Trudeau delivering billions to top human rights abusing nations on Earth. So there it is. There's Trudeau right there. He's sending money. I hope we don't find life on Mars, because Trudeau will send the money. And we have to figure out a way not to find. If we find life on Mars, don't tell the Canadians, because this guy is just going to send the money. So that's a huge issue, especially with the amount of poverty in Canada. People are on their way, forced into homelessness in Canada. People dying on the streets of fentanyl and opioids. This crisis has been going on for decades. And unfortunately, I think 1 in 3 homes are completely empty, owned by foreign investors. All our mines are owned by China. Well, most of our mines, the biggest ones we have with no Canadian hires, but they use our healthcare, though, if something happens. So there's just too much going on there. RT is reporting 13 Israelis suffer facial paralysis after taking the COVID jab amid the influx of reports detailing adverse effects. So there it is. And facial paralysis is just a part of your face doesn't cooperate with the rest of your, Okay, Parler CEO says social media app favored by Trump supporters may not return. The social media platform, which has over 12 million users, was shut down by Amazon Web Services for failing to effectively moderate violent content. I was on there. We went on Parler. We looked at what people were talking about, and they got rid of it. And there it is. Indonesian earthquake. Dozens dead as search for survivors continues. Our prayers go with the Indonesian families there. And powerful earthquake has rocked Indonesia, the Sulawesi island, killing at least 42 people, with more feared dead, and rescuers search for survivors. There it is right there, guys. Our prayers go with them and their families. California orders insurance companies to pay teens to have mastectomies for gender transition. I don't even know what that means. And for too long, individuals diagnosed with gender dysphoria have been a battle to host the challenges to get gender. I'm not even going to read this because I can't even read half these words. But that's it right there. You can comment on that below. But there it is. Tax dollars hard at work is what it is. So what it is here is, this is from the Israeli news. This is directly from Israel. This is from yesterday. Top rabbi says America's collapsing. Israel must step up now as new world superpower. So Israel is talking and discussing that it must become the new superpower. Then we have Russia government resigns as Vladimir Putin plans future. So it goes in to say right here, The Russian leader said during a speech to both the chamber and parliament that there will be a nationwide vote on changes that would shift power from the presidency to parliament. Constitutional reforms including giving the lower house of parliament, the State Duma, greater responsibility for the appointment of the prime minister and the cabinet. So they're making it more, I guess, fair, so to say, or more transparent, or getting more people involved so that there's less corruption. I don't know. Other countries are going the complete opposite of that. It's kind of, so what else did Putin say? In his address to parliament, the president unveiled a series of plans to increase the number of children being born in Russia. Like several Eastern European states, Russia has been struggling with a decline in birth rate. Last year, Mr. Putin promised tax breaks for bigger families. On Wednesday, he pledged the state funding for new mothers to be increased, with the number of children born on average is fewer than 1.5 per woman to 1.6 within 4 years. So basically, well, you see, in Canada, they do it. In Canada, Australia, and New Zealand, and the UK, they do it differently. They just bring in more people. Where in Russia, they want to have women. They're promoting women to have more children, so the birth rate doesn't decline, right? So that's what's happening there, according to RT. And then we have the Russian government just resigned. Here's what you need to know. So this is Canadian media, Canadian state-run media. Our media here in Canada is state-run, so we don't have a real voice here in Canada. Police keeping an eye on the controversial Bill TK Freedom rally outside the Beehive. So this is in New Zealand. So what they're gonna be doing, anybody that's protesting lockdowns, they're gonna have this right here. They're gonna have these photos put up, and they're gonna do this like this. They're gonna label it or spin it off as pro-Trump rallies when it's not. A lot of people in New Zealand have been protesting the lockdowns. They're not protesting Trump rallies. So a lot of these images, I could probably guarantee, are not from New Zealand. I could probably guarantee that. So you don't see them standing behind the guys there. You see them mysteriously in certain areas. So that's been happening a lot. They've been spinning pro-Trump rallies as lockdown rallies as pro-Trump rallies in Australia and New Zealand. Unexpected string of allergic reaction caused delays at vaccination superstation near Petco Park. So there it is in San Diego. I know it's in San Diego. While allergic reactions are expected in mass vaccination operations, the amount seen Wednesday was slightly higher than expected. The time period of the super station slowed down vaccinations so they could investigate. So there it is. More and more people at the super drive-through vaccination centers are getting their vaccines, and there's more and more allergic side effect reactions to it. So Houston Hospital offers workers $500 cash. $500 to get the COVID vaccine. Would you do it for $500? All right, let's move on here. Kuwait government resigns en masse as Emiri faces first big challenge. So there it is. The resignation of the cabinet formed on December 14 has been accepted after the move in parliament earlier this month that poses the first political challenge for the new Emiri as the country faces its worst economic loss in decades. So again, oil isn't the big thing anymore because the Bushes aren't in power, because if the Bushes were in power, you'd see $130 barrel. Literally. And what is this? 9 Catholic bishops with COVID die in a single week. So there it is there. That's coming out of the Vatican right there, the Catholic World Report. So what is happening? Are they... Yeah, I'm not going to... COVID ice cream tests positive for COVID in China. There it is. And this is not fake news. I actually looked it up in different... And it's in different publications. Ice cream has found to have contained the COVID in China after 3 samples tested positive for the virus. Oh my God! What is happening? Well, guys, that is Morning Coffee with Mike. Guys, don't forget to check out God Rules. $1 million to keep them employed. So
right.
is our media...
Google's bailed out the legacy media here.
Don't forget to check out God Rules, guys. He was on the Mike in the Night last Saturday. Don't forget to check out Mike in the Night. Guys, set your reminders here for sick money injections this Wednesday. And next Saturday, Mike in the Night, we're going to be talking digital prison. Mike in the Night with Colin. So if you want to call into the show, don't forget to add me on Skype. Mike Martins 1980 on Skype. Mike Martins 1980. Add me on Skype and come on the show. Be part of the show. Discuss this digital prison we are headed towards. Discuss what is happening in your neck of the woods. If you're in an English-speaking country, please subscribe to this channel. If you're across the Commonwealth, I bid you guys all a big good day, and stay strong, eye on the prize, and we will talk soon. I have spoken.